Hello, you all. This is So Unique with a special guest star today. Are you gonna introduce yourself? Or no, I should introduce. That's normal. This is Courtney. She's now like one of my BFFs. Basically, we got closer, and she'll explain it more. But we got close unexpectedly. She also wrote a blog about it, Uncomfortability, and she talks about how being out of your comfort zone, you grow in that. So describe that a little bit in our relationship, how we met.
So I was just a freshman at JMU, and I'll be a sophomore next year, obviously, but when I first came, I didn't really know what I was going to get involved in. There's so many campus ministries, but I knew I wanted to be in a ministry because that's like my passion, and so I was coming out of a small group from another ministry, and I saw a very familiar face in Madison Union, and was like, because I'd been going to Divine Unity Community Churches where me and Nika go, and I saw Pastor Marcus, and I was like, hey, what's up? Like, I was like, why is a pastor in Madison Union? But great. Little do I know he like works with the campus, so didn't know that. And something, well, I know it was the Lord that really, really pushed me to ask about a campus ministry. I didn't even know if Doug did one. Like, I was confused. But I did it, and it was a little uncomfy because, I mean, I barely knew Pastor Marcus, and, you know, I don't know. So I asked him about it, and he's like, yeah, I'll have you ride by Thursday, and blah, 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 blah. And so, little do I know, Nika picks me up for ENC. It's called ENC Every Nation Campus, and I wasn't super involved first semester, but because I was still finding my way, but now I've developed all these friendships. Me and Nika are close now. I met so many people and have really grown in my faith, and let the Spirit break out, and it's really cool to like look back on how I chose to be so uncomfortable, but it led to like these exponential growth moments, and it's basically what my blog's about. So
I'll also link it down below so you can look in the description box and read it for yourself. It's really good, and basically that's like my motto for my life is growing in unfamiliarity. You're not going to grow staying in your comfort zone. And I really like how Exhibit A, Courtney, wasn't comfortable. She didn't know anybody. She rode with a stranger, which was me. I was a lovely stranger, but I was a stranger. She didn't know where she was going. Tidbit, it's nice to be safe. It's not like we were taking her somewhere crazy. But this ministry was not comfortable for her. She didn't even know about it. And really like just stepping out and just going, like when you feel the call, being obedient to that and going out and actually just doing whatever God has you doing, whether it's something that you're very familiar with, 9 times out of 10, it's probably going to be something that you're not comfortable with.
true.
But really stepping outside of that box is what allows you to grow in faith, to grow deeper in your relationship with Him, to meet new people, to have different perspectives, different backgrounds. And also, like, for me, I know y'all are probably sick of me talking about it, but I'm going to New Zealand. That's not comfortable. I mean, it's amazing, but I could just say, oh, I'm going to stay in America in little old Virginia and not go anywhere. But would I really be growing? So, yeah, also, we're doing a really great Bible study called Breaking Free. Shout out to Cindy. It's by Beth Moore.
Yeah.
Beth Moore, Breaking Free. I'll also post like the Amazon link in case you want to buy that jank. But that has been amazement. Like, I opened the book and I was like, yo, this is sick. So, have you gotten anything from that so far?
One of the main, I'm a little behind because my book came in late, but one of the main things for me is I feel very like strongly that the whole entire Bible is very important, not just New Testament or like Psalms where we feel good when we read them. And so it's really allowed me to look at the history part of the Bible in the first like week or so. It's kind of talking about the history of the kings and how they reigned and what mistakes they made, what they did well. And it's really taught me how we can learn about the Lord through those stories too, and like I shouldn't be just sticking to like James or Ephesians or Philippians, like in the New Testament. I've learned a lot about pride. That's a huge, that's a huge thing. And how that can really overtake your whole self, and we need to be really careful to be self-aware and keep self-checks and with Jesus. But yeah, I've just been able to fall in love with Jesus more just by studying the Bible more. So yeah, that's the main thing. What?
Yeah, no, I relate too, because typically I don't, like when I go to read the Bible, I don't flip to the Old Testament, just because it's not, to me, it's not the same setting. Like the New Testament is more of a setting for where we're living right now.
We go to the happy stuff.
Yeah, we go to the happy stuff.
True.
And in the Old Testament, it was like some crazy stuff going on. But I like how in the study with the Bibles, not with the Bibles, with the Kings, and just the comparison of all of them, and to see how like one was really just prideful and just doing whatever they want, and how pride was their downfall, or not taking down the idols was another downfall. That's actually still a huge like parallel to us, because it's
so
the same
prevalent.
thing.
It's
same
so
thing, just
prevalent.
different times.
Yeah.
Whether that be a physical actual shrine of an idol, or something that we can't necessarily see, but we still worship. We're all worshiping something at any point of our lives. It just depends on what you are worshiping. And if it's not God, that's an idol. So yeah, also tell us about what great things you're doing this summer.
I'm actually headed this next coming Sunday. I'm headed to be a camp counselor at Camp Holiday Trails in Charlottesville. And it's a camp for kids ages like 5-ish to 17 that have had any type of diagnosis in their lifetime. And so that could be like diabetes, asthma, cancer, cerebral palsy, autism, any diagnosis, like anything. And so I'll be a camp counselor there, and I'm really, really excited. It's going to be hard to leave like all these new friends that I've made. Yeah, Nika, and just like the community I've had at Duck lately. Well, all year, but I've chosen to like embrace it lately and be uncomfortable. But yeah, so I'm really excited. I'm nervous, but excited.
Yeah, and you also, what I've been realizing the past few days about her is she's so passionate about getting connected, which again can be uncomfortable, a little uncomfy, but it's so needed in our lives. We as humans weren't born, our mission wasn't to be isolated and alone, but to be together, because we are better together. And kind of just, if you don't mind talking about why that's like one of your biggest passions like ever in life, aside from many, but why you have such a passion for people being connected.
I think that we could read books and we could like do a lot of things on our own to learn things about ourselves, but I learned so much from just like observing other people and seeing how they interact with the world or how they see the world, and just like the Lord will like speak things directly from people. Like that happened with Nika the other night. I was like, Jesus.
Oh yeah,
I was like this living human is telling me things that the Lord wants me to hear, but if I just like sit around by myself, then I'm not gonna be able to embrace that. And I just feel so strongly that we should be reaching out and like building community like never before. Like that is like something that's huge.
Yeah, also when you said that, it reminded me of what our pastor had said this past Sunday. He said it doesn't matter whether you're extroverted or introverted, but you're converted. And when he said that, I was like,
I was dead. I was like,
but I mean, it's so true. Like I think a lot of people, and I've done this myself, I'm very extroverted. And so the excuse that I give sometimes is, okay, well, like, depending on their feelings, like, I take that on, and I don't want to deal with that right now. I don't want to feel such and such way, or just anything like that. And I know a couple of people who are introverted have told me, I don't I'm not comfortable. I don't feel like putting myself out there. But the whole point of this is to not be comfortable. I feel like we as Christians, if we are being comfortable, we're not doing something right. I feel like we should always be, and you can like say if you agree or not, but I feel like we should always have some level of uncomfortability in our life, because I mean, I'm sure Jesus, his disciples weren't comfortable. I mean, you're spreading the gospel in an area who's like, we don't want to hear this. Like, this isn't what's normal. This isn't what we're used to hearing. And I mean, look at that.
Yeah, I definitely think that, and I have always been a person that's like, okay, I'm going to graduate high school, I'm going to go to JMU for 4 years, I'm going to major in this, I'm going to get married by this age, I'm going to have this many kids. It was very much like an expectation for myself for all these things to just like fall into place. Mm-hmm. But once I started like giving those things up to Jesus completely, I have no idea what my future holds. Like, I mean, I would like to graduate from JMU, but if the Lord, like, I just have no idea where the Lord's going to take me, and that has caused me to trust him way more. So I feel like if you do know exactly where you're going to be in the future, then you might not be really searching out the Holy Spirit as much as you think, and not to discourage you, but just to give your life up to God, because ultimately this life is like very temporary, and it's building like it's building heaven. It's not about like this time on earth. It's eternal. And once you start thinking eternally, uncomfortability wise, then you will start to experience life way more than you ever have. I can promise you that. Like, let me know how that goes, because it's incredible.
Yeah, to be honest, I have no idea what I'm gonna do after I graduate, and I'm a senior. Wow, I'm a senior. But anyway, I have
I'm a sophomore.
No idea what I want to do with my life, and I'm completely at peace with it. I mean, it took a while to get there. I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm at peace because I know I'm following God's path. And whatever that is, I know that's the best plan for me. I know he did all of that planning, and so I have nothing to worry about. I'm just a chess piece being moved all around wherever he wants me to go. And that is completely fine with me. I don't have anything else to say about that, because I'm honestly at so much peace just living in the here and now, and living in the here and now, being in the moment, but having an eternal mindset.
True.
I think that's really amazing, because like what you were saying, this life is so temporary, and I don't want to get caught up in making temporary decisions, temporary plans, when it's just temporary.
I also think that if you're so focused, for a long time it was hard for me. So ultimately our purpose is to like be following God and growing in God ourselves, but also be loving the people around us that don't know God, because if we're not doing that, then there's like serious issues like you need to reevaluate, like, to be quite honest. And so if you expect to be spreading the word and sharing the good news to people about Jesus, then you have to be loving them in the moment. And if you're so focused, for the longest time I was so focused on what my future was going to hold, and what I had to do tomorrow, even what I had to do later that day, that I wasn't paying attention to what people were telling me about their lives that they were struggling with, you know? And so not only, it's not just for us, like, yes, I want to be free and I want to be set free and live life to the fullest with the Lord, but it's about the other people that have no idea who Jesus is. And like, I'm so passionate about it, and I could go on and on, but just ask me later and I could just, I done most.
So Courtney the other day was telling me about Nisha, which y'all have met before, and you'll meet again.
She's awesome. I'm so serious. Amazing. I love that girl.
She is my sissy. I love her. Like, we can go on and on about that woman, that God-filled woman. But anyway, we were talking about how sometimes it's kind of hard for us to bridge the gap between, okay, we're Christians, it's not about us about all like at all, but getting other people and like loving them. And so Courtney had a bomb description of
I don't remember this.
it was about loving as a verb.
Oh, sure.
And
girl,
that
preach
was
it.
like the best depiction ever, I think, to me anyway, because that's exactly what I had been struggling with how to show love to someone. Oh, it was a butterfly. How to show love to somebody who does not know Christ, and just how to open up and share about him just being amazing. So yeah, do you want to talk about how loving should be like with a verb?
Yes. We grow up thinking like, okay, like I love you, Mom, I love you, Dad. Like you say I love you to your friends, your girlfriend, boyfriend, if that's like a thing, whatever. But
Sorry. Okay. If that's a thing.
I'll start that over so you can just cut. Okay. So I always thought of loving as kind of like a feeling that I would experience, and and so as I started to like grow my relationship with Jesus, people poured into my life in high school, and they just kept reminding me, Courtney, like loving is a verb. It's not really. It is a feeling, but it's something that we're called to as believers to go out and love. That's used, that in that sentence is a verb, not a feeling. And so and that's what Jesus did. Like he loved the people around him, and so I think that by going out and doing things for people and serving them, and just the way you live your life is showing love and compassion towards these people. And so I am also very passionate about love being a verb and not just something you, like, the Lord loves me. Yes, that's great, but like, what are you doing about it?
Start. Also, something that Nisha said that I don't think I ever knew, or if I did know, I just kind of was like, oh yeah, that's great, whatever. So we all have love languages. There's 5 love languages: physical touch, quality time, acts of service,
Gift giving,
and words of affirmation. Duh, those are mine. Anyway, and she said that a great way in loving the Lord, like how you're supposed to, that's personable, is using your love languages. So for instance, my love languages, my top 3 are words of affirmation. Technically there's a tie. Words of affirmation, quality time, and gift giving are like my top 3 as of right now. But so for instance, what I would do to, spend time with the Lord and love him is show that I love him, and not to say, oh, I love him, is to give him words of affirmation, to spend quality time with him, and to give him gifts. So like, not actually being like, oh yeah, like I bought you something, here's the gift, but but like, so I dance, so like dancing, like using the gifts that he gave me and glorifying him with the gifts. Thanks, I couldn't think of the word. Glorifying him with the gifts. So that for instance, and like Courtney, hers is, for instance, physical touch. So when we were talking about this, I was like,
how you gonna touch
in
Jesus?
The world
like,
do you, I mean, like he is around us, but how does that work? And so like, can you describe how physical touch would, for instance, be, you use that?
Yeah, and I actually haven't really thought about this that much since Nisha, I have, but before Nisha said it, I didn't really think about it, which is cool, because again, Jesus speaking through somebody else that I chose
Community.
it's great. Anyways, different subject now. But I think just like being in his presence, kind of, and just like feeling like he's like literally sitting beside you, and just like knowing that he's there and not just like some far off spirit, but he's like literally right with us. And I think that's kind of what I get from that. I need to like think about that more and do more research and ask people, but
yeah, I think that's definitely, I think that I'm so glad she said that because it just made me reflect on my whole entire life. And then I realized that when I do those things, for instance, like words of affirmation, I feel more of a connection with him. Like there's always a connection, but I feel like he's right here, and I'm just like, God. So
Like, hey JC, what's up?
Yeah, JC. JC.
I pulled it. I did it.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
That's my boy. Just kidding.
Oh my God. Hey JC. I've never heard that before in my life. Wow. Yeah, so like, hey JC, what's up? But like when you said that, because you know, like I'm very imaginative, so I just pictured like
Like our boy and like
just like walking around like
what
up?
Oh my God. Head bros.
Okay, wow. So yeah, the whole gist of this whole thing is to be uncomfortable. If you are doing things for the Lord and you're uncomfortable, you're probably in a good place. Mm-hmm. That's a good place to be in. We grow in being uncomfortable. That's just how it is.
True.
I mean, even with like learning in class, you learn to like math. Oh my gosh, I do not like math. But, and so like learning it, I'm like, I don't really know if this is the answer. Like
physiology,
chemistry. Oh, I'm like, I do not know if this is the equation.
No, chemistry is my ish.
Really?
Yeah.
I wish I would have known that.
Physiology's not though.
I like do not.
I'm not going to declare that in my life. I'm not bad at it. I just need to work on it.
Exactly. We need to work on it.
Speak life.
But like when we're doing these problems, the homework, I'm like, I don't know if this is it. I don't know, but I'm gonna just continue to do it. And then you check the answers at the back of the book, which you should check the answers after you do the problem. That's a different story. But once you check the answers, you're like, oh, so I got it right, and then you're now comfortable with the subject. It's just like that with our regular lives.
That's a good way.
Some things are gonna be very uncomfortable. That's just how it is. But the more we do it, we get comfortable at it. Like evangelizing. Evangelizing for me, in the beginning, was completely uncomfortable. It was like a curse word. It was like, this is something that is forbidden. I don't like it. But the more you do it, I am a lot more comfortable with it now. Praise Jesus. Hallelujah. Thank you. So being uncomfortable is a great thing. It's great. Also, loving as a verb. Do it. Love God, love people, and not just say like, oh, I love you, which I mean, that's good. It gets you someplace.
But show it. Like,
thank you.
It's just like when little kids keep messing up over and over and they say, I'm so sorry. But if they don't fix it, that sorry means absolutely nothing.
Exactly. Yeah. So
wow,
show
that was
it.
from Jesus. Wow. I'm serious.
You,
I have never thought about it like that. Okay.
Thank you, JC. But so yeah, and also we charge you to be uncomfortable and be okay with being uncomfortable, because that's the only way you're gonna grow. To love like a verb, and love like a verb to people, and to love like a verb to God. Is there any other charges that you want to like?
Get in community. Like
so extra.
Like I'm serious. Like
No,
I'm
literally.
so serious. Like I don't even have words for it because I'm that serious about it.
Community saves your life. It saves your life. It does. We were talking last night, talking about, you know, how we were before we found Christ, and the similar common denominator between all of us is that we were alone. We felt alone. We were alone. We were depressed, isolated. But you can only feel those ways if you're alone. If you're with people, and you can still be with people and, you know, feel that way. But it's better that when you're with life-giving people, those feelings change. You don't feel isolated. You don't feel lonely.
Yeah. And people are here to build you up, and not only build you up, but like carry your burdens with you. Like, if you have something going on, like, it's so important to like share it with other people.
And I suggest that if you're not with those people, find them.
Get with them.
And it's gonna be uncomfortable finding those people, because it might be out of the comfort zone. Might be like, I don't need nobody. I'm independent, or I don't feel like searching. But once again, it goes back to being uncomfortable. Some things are just gonna be uncomfortable. but you gotta do what you gotta do. TBH.
Yep.
To be honest. So, my lovely friend Courtney, we should do more of these. I like
We
this.
should, I do.
We have talks like all the time. Just
Like literally
all
every
the
day.
time. I didn't go to bed for the past 2 days.
3 days.
Dealing with this girl. 3 days. That's even worse. I didn't go to bed till like 4 in the morning. 3 in the morning.
We were at the church yesterday for literally 15 hours.
Literally.
15
literally.
15
We
or more
counted.
hours.
But I honestly wouldn't trade it in for the world. I don't care if I got 2 hours of sleep for the rest of my life. This is amazing. I just love living in the moment. I love being in community with people who actually grow me, give me different perspectives, and make me laugh. Like I don't know. It's so cool. So live in the moment, be in community, all of that. We just summed it up. So I'm not about to sum it up again. But yeah, the wonderful Courtney Ott.
Courtney Hall.
We're gonna end this.
Okay. Love you guys.
Thank you all.